Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. It's an exclusive UFC 284 preview with the next gen lads. Ross, introduce the guest, man.
Today we have two of Cage Warriors and next generation Liverpool's starlets. We have the Sewi Strangler. It is Mr. Nathan Fletcher, and we have the Cage Warriors King, Adam Cullen. Two absolute gents, lads. How are we doing?
All good, lads. How are you?
Yeah, can't complain. Adam, obviously
doing very good, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh, brilliant! Nathan and Adam both flying. Obviously, you guys. shout out to Brad. Obviously, you guys are booked in for this Cage Warriors Manchester card. No opponents today. Adam, how frustrated are you with all these lightweights? Normally, it's quite an active division, but no one's stepping up to the plate for you.
Yeah, no one's taking the bait, are they? I think they all know what was going to happen if they stepped in there with me. But I gave Cage Warriors a good few names of people I wanted to get around with, names that make sense so and get me towards the title. But none of them wanted the fight. So what can you say? Just same old story for me, isn't it? They're all just terrified.
Yeah, I also think you've completed France now. I feel like you need to now complete the UK. I feel like your next opponent should be a UK-based fighter. I think we already know the number one French fighter at lightweight is Adam Cullen. I think we need a UK fighter next. How do you feel about that?
Anyone in Europe, I'll just take over Europe. Do you know what I mean? It's coming, isn't it? Eventually, they're going to have to branch out and get me someone else. Because yeah, like you say, I think France are done with me. If I fight any more of them, I'll be banned from the country. I'll be on like a watch list. I get to the border to go on holiday and they won't let me in. So I'll have to turn it in, battering Frenchies, won't I? And need to get me someone else, some other Europeans. But the other Europeans didn't seem to want it. So fair play to the French kids. At least they turn up.
We'll have to stop calling them the King. We'll start have to call them Adam the Conqueror Cullen. Just taking over country by country.
We don't do it buts or maybes like we do absolutes.
There we have it. And Nathan, obviously you're in a similar boat. None of the bantamweights really want that smoke.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was expecting to fight maybe Reese on this card, but he's already matched up with Dan Deweese, so that fight's not happening again, which is a shame. And then the other two boys I've got my eye on is Cullen and Martin Yoni, and I've not heard anything about either of those two. So looks like I'm in the same boat as Adam. I'm just going to be waiting for somebody getting brought in, a lamb brought to the slaughter. So
Nate, which one would you prefer to fight? Because obviously you've beaten both on before.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably rather fight Cullen right now because I've not fought him at pro yet. So an amateur win doesn't really stand up as good as my pro win over Martin Yoni, who are finished as well. So I'd like to, out of those two, if I had an option, I'd rather fight Cullen.
Which one do you think is actually the bigger fight as well?
It's hard to say because Martin Yoni, with his win over Woodin, I feel like that put him pretty high up there in terms of European MMA. But Cullen's got the mouth, and so he's got a little bit more of that the hype behind him. And I feel like a fight with me and him would be very easy to market and sell.
Yeah. That's a definite face-off for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'd have to come on here if that one ends up happening. But like I said. Yeah, I love it. We'll have to wait and see. We'll see what happens, but I'm just focused on myself at the minute, focused on my own path, and I don't think it really matters who me and Adam fight, to be honest. I think we can kind of get there, get to the title shot, and get to the UFC off our own merit, off the back of our own names, so opponents don't really matter anyway. We'll just smash anyone.
Yeah, well, we just hope you get there soon, because I know Nathan, you in particular, had plenty of times you were booked on for a show, and then you were moved, and you were moved, and you were moved. So that must have been a very frustrating finish to your year at the end of your year last year.
Yeah, it was. But then as soon as you get in there and get that win, you kind of forget about all that frustration and it leaves you. But I feel like I'm very thankful for that time that I had. Those 15 months out of the cage was a time what I spent growing physically, mentally. In terms of my skill set, I improved a lot. So looking back, obviously in the moment, it was a very frustrating time period. But now I'm grateful for the adversity that I faced over those 15 months.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That Chris Williams boxing paid off, Basno, didn't it?
It definitely did. But Ross, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. Who cut the better promo after the fight? Was it Nathan or was it Adam after the last fight?
Nathan didn't have any
Pressure's on,
props, though,
Ross.
did he?
Pressure's on.
I had the props.
Yeah, you know what? I felt like
I don't
Adam's-
need the props. Come on.
Adam was more thought out, but I felt like Nathan was from the heart, you know.
that raw emotion, bro, with the adrenaline coming through.
This
That's
is
what it
number
was.
one bullshit.
Well, sitting on the fence there, but as always. But
Yeah,
but
yes.
you have to make sure.
Nearly on the fence.
Yeah, you have to make sure to check the lads out at Cage Wars 152 in Manchester on April 15th. Reading it right from the diary, Ross. That's already booked in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Live on the UC Fight Pass, by the way, as well.
It's going to be an absolute banger, and if you can get there in person, definitely do. Lads, I assume I'll ask this yourself, Adam. There'll be a massive next gen army heading to Manchester. It doesn't really get much more local than unless you have it in Liverpool, of course. Than going to Manchester. It's not too much of an ask for the fans.
No, it's a belter, and they're always good nights. I like the layout of the Manchester Arena. It's like big, but it's still compact, where like everyone's on top of the cage, and it's always good. We always get a good show out from we even get all the little kids from the gym coming with the mums and dads and that, and obviously all the lads come down, and they're just boss nights, and the atmosphere is always electric in there. So we all like fighting on Manchester. It's always a bit of a scramble for everyone in our gym. Everyone trying to get on the money cards because it just goes off in there.
Absolutely, and with that, with having your friends and family there, and more people from Liverpool attend the fights and Southport as well. Do you find that that puts more pressure on, and do you thrive in that pressure? Like, do you really get that buzz off the crowd?
I feel like I get the buzz off the crowd. Yeah, the pressure of the crowd doesn't ever really affect me because I think no one puts more pressure on me than myself. Like, I am my own biggest critic, so everyone else being there and not being there, it doesn't bother me. But I like walking out when everyone's kicking off and everyone's up for it, and you just, as you walk into the cage, thinking I'm going to absolutely smash this kid's head in. It is better with the crowd there. Do you know what I mean? With all your mates there, clocking people that who've come down to watch you. It is good.
No, absolutely. And what about yourself, Nathan? Do you thrive off the crowd, or is that something that makes you feel a little bit more nervous, or which is a?
No, I'd definitely say I thrive off the crowd as well, especially in Manchester. The last time I fought there was 2020, and it was just before the pandemic. So I've not like at that time in my career, I was pretty much early on. I think I was 3-0, and like my following's kind of increased quite a bit since then. I got a lot more people coming down to watch and support me. I mean, saying that, then I had a good 100 people there, but this time I feel like I've progressed on in my career, and at the point I'm at now, I'm going to be able to bring a massive crowd with me to this Manchester show. Like, I've been at the last few as a spectator, watching the boys, you know what I mean? And I've been in the mix with everyone, watching Adam get his first round knockouts and stuff there, and the same with Luke and Gittins. And so I've been a part of the atmosphere from the crowd's point of view, but I'm excited to have my moment now to be sat on top of the cage after getting a first round knockout myself and just taking all that in and like embracing all the people that have come there to support me.
Yeah, I suppose it is the only time you've got to finish with the fists in Manchester. So maybe that brings something out in Nathan Fletcher. The rest of the time he's taking someone's back and choking them into the next day. But that on that day in Manchester, go 3-0, you decided to use the fists. So maybe Manchester brings something out of you.
Listen,
Are you going to
maybe.
bring a prop, lad? You're going to bring a prop this time?
I know, that's yours.
Someone to throw you a backpack. Put the backpack on there.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how we strangle it.
Not as cool as the crown, that is it. Just walk around the cage with a backpack on, like I'm going to school. I'll leave the props for you, bro. That's your thing.
Nice one.
Getting like a maths book or a bag, like throw it.
Maybe like take have some ready for a slice of pizza in the crowd and say Martigoni, you're next with the slice of pizza or a bowl of
That's not a bad
pasta.
show. Pay homage to George Hardwick. He's the pizza man, isn't he? So, hey, you know what I mean?
Although you have to pay a hell of a price to get a slice of pizza off him. You have to get in the cage with him.
Yeah. I don't know if any pizza is worth that, lads.
Well, I'll pass on that.
No, but lads, like, we obviously are looking forward to seeing you back at Cage Wars 153 Manchester. But there was other massive news over the weekend as well. Conor McGregor is returning to the Ultimate Fighter. He's going to take on Michael Chandler in the welterweight division, it's been reported. Lads, I'm going to ask all your opinions on this, but Ross, what do you make of this first? Because would you have rather Conor face Tony Ferguson or Michael Chandler?
To me, it was like 1A or 1B. Like, I think they're both good fights. I think they're both good fights for Conor to return to. I think they're both good characters for him to be against in the Ultimate Fighter. So for me, like, it didn't make too much difference. I think at the time I was sort of saying I prefer Tony Ferguson, but like that was more.
That's why I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, but that was more just like if you pick one, I just picked one. But like if someone was ramming Chandler down my throat, I'd take Chandler as well. It didn't really overly matter. I think they're both great characters, and I think Conor doing the Ultimate Fighter is not only good for the Ultimate Fighter as almost like a rebrand to like get the eyes back on it, but I also think it's great for him that he's going to have to be around fighters and basically be in camp himself for a solid 8 or 9 weeks guaranteed while he's doing his coaching stint. So I think it's great, and I think Michael Chandler will bring a lot to it, and I think Conor McGregor will bring a lot to it. It'd be interesting to see if Michael Chandler, because he trains out of Killcliff, would bring like Ian Gary in or something for a coaching slot in there or something like that to bring an Irish person against him. That would be interesting to see. But I know, Nathan, I'll pass the book to you. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm down with it. I like the setup. I'm a big fan of Michael Chandler myself, and obviously I'm a massive fan of McGregor. So it's two fighters that I've looked up to for a long time. I think the dynamic's going to be interesting because obviously, what McGregor are we going to see? Are we going to see the shit talker, or is he going to be a bit more like the respectful Conor that was, you know, in the lead up to the first Poirier fight when he was kind of on the stage with Chandler? Then everyone was being dead pally and friendly and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what sort of dynamic they both bring. I think if they do start talking shit to each other, Conor's going to absolutely have Chandler's number. Like, I just don't see that going well for Chandler. And then in terms of the fight, I think, again, I'm favouring Conor in that one because I think stylistically, the way Chandler fights, he comes out so aggressive and he's sort of all or nothing, isn't he? So I think he's going to leave himself open to one of those left hands, and that's how I'd see the fight going anyway. But it's going to be entertaining. It's good to see Conor back whenever he's in the sport. Obviously, it brings more eyes to it, so it's just going to continue to grow MMA. And yeah, I'm up for it, and I can't wait to watch. The only downside is my man, the King of Cage Warriors, isn't going to be on the show because I think all the applications are done now. But it is a lightweight season, so I would have liked to have seen my man in there, to be honest. But that would have been the icing on top of the cake. But we'll have to wait a few more months before the big dogs in the UFC.
Yeah, because the Ultimate Fighter season 30 airs on the 30th of May. Adam, did like, this is obviously your division. They're going to be competing in a lightweight. Did anything come across your way when this was going around?
No, I don't know what. I didn't know anything about it. Someone messaged me like 18. No, it wasn't even that. How long ago? About 9 months ago. About the applications for that, and like I didn't think anything of it. And to be honest, the Ultimate Fighter's died, and it really recently. It's not what it used to be. And I think like as the Usman, Joe Big Usman was on the series, I couldn't even tell you the coaches weren't. So I was half thinking, I'm not interested. But I've got to imagine me on telly hitting pads with Conor McGregor while he's telling me go for the calf kick and spin on this and all that and drinking whiskey. It would have been a belter, wouldn't it? But
yeah, absolutely.
With the crown on.
With the crown on, draped in a French flag, practicing wheel kicks with McGregor. It would have been a smoker, wouldn't it?
Oh, here's the real question: how many minutes into the first episode before Conor McGregor refers to Michael Chandler's height?
Oh, it's gonna be a Chad Mendes repeat, isn't it? Like when the Chad Mendes builds up, when he was telling him he could rest his balls on his forehead and all that, and going, it's gonna be all of that again, isn't it? And I think fight wise as well, I don't really like the fight for Chandler because he is so aggressive, and like he is that Chad Mendes frame, and on the feet last time with Mendes, McGregor absolutely had his number, didn't he? Just picking him apart. But Chandler's ego, there's not a chance he will shoot a takedown in that fight. And if he doesn't, I just can't see it going well. When McGregor gets going on the feet, he finds shins, doesn't he? And early bat for Chandler, I reckon.
Yeah, hopefully so. It'll be interesting to see, would it be at 170, will that add anything in there? Will that make Chandler more durable? Who knows? But the great thing is we'll get to find out come fight night in August, I'm going to assume, at this stage, Bas. Is that looking around that time?
I think the season ends around then. It's 8 weeks long. So I think it could be September we could be looking at. Yeah, so it'll be like late summer. But we were all very excited for it, especially over here in Ireland, especially with the announcement of Katie Taylor coming back to Dublin as well. It's been an absolute crazy weekend for Irish MMA.
Yeah, we'll have Molly over for that as well.
Yeah, any chance of Molly getting on that Katie Taylor card, lads?
I don't know.
On a boxing card?
Yeah, why not?
It'd be in Crow Park. She'd love it.
Oh, you mean like what is it? You mean as a commentator or something?
No. Katie Taylor's fighting Amanda Serrano in
a boxing match. You mean? I don't know what you say.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get Molly. You heard it here first. Maybe we see her on that card, Ross.
No, she'll be on the piss over there.
Right.
Molly will be on the Guinness over there. She won't be fighting. She'll be with you lads in the crowd.
Yeah,
Guinness
with glasses on.
No, we'll be reffing it. We'll be reffing it, lads. Us and Jake Paul reffing the fight. But we're looking forward to everything. The Irish MMA and Irish combat sports are kicking off as well, and so are the lads in Liverpool. But UFC 284 Perth is on this weekend, so for the people tuning in, and if you've enjoyed the latest 15 minutes, thank you very much. Very energized. But we may as well kick it off with the main event, Ross.
Absolutely. We have Islam Makhachev defending his lightweight title against the featherweight champion who was looking for champ status in Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Is one for the ages. It's quite rare you get someone to or a fight that you get the number 1 and 2 pound for pound champ going head to head. Adam, this is a division and a title that you'll look to hold in the future. What do you make of this matchup?
It's a seriously good fight, in it. It is the number 1 pound for pound versus the number 2. It's a crazy fight, to be honest. I remember speaking about it last year, thinking, Oliveira and Volkanovski were going to end up having it, but obviously with the way the last fight's gone, now it's Islam and Volkanovski, and it's a huge fight. It's probably one of the maybe not like notoriety wise and pay-per-views and all that, but in terms of skill matchups, it's got to be the biggest fight the UFC has ever put on. But I've been saying to Nathan all week, Volkanovski is my favourite fighter, but I am terrified for him because that Islam is a big, big man. And you see what he did to Drew Dober and Dan Hooker, all big lightweights. Manhandles people, doesn't he? And it's just, I'm scared for Volkanovski. Not gonna lie.
I feel like every time you watch Islam Makhachev, you feel like he's nearly always going to eventually get some sort of rear naked or head and arm choke that he's going to force the other person to give up that position, and then he's just going to sink it in like he did against Charles Oliveira. You're talking about one of the greatest submission fighters in UFC history, and Islam actually just took him down and made him look like a white belt on the mat.
It was nothing, was it? He just absolutely breezed through him, especially when they hit the floor that second time. And you could half see Oliveira, he never, in jiu-jitsu positions, he loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But it looked like he gave up. As soon as Islam grabbed him, you could see in his face he was thinking, shit. And to have Oliveira panicking when you're in a jiu-jitsu scenario means you've got something terrifying about you. And skill-wise, obviously, Volkanovski is unbelievable. But sometimes size just plays too much of a factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan, what's your take on it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Me phone's doing all madness. My take is it's a very interesting fight. I think stylistically, Volkanovski is going to be the most difficult test for Islam. And I think that for a few reasons. I think one, he can push a serious pace, and obviously, Islam's looked pretty dominant in all of his wins, but we haven't seen him much going into the later rounds. I don't think he's ever fought a full 5 rounds. And I think his most recent fight where he got into the 4th round was against Thiago Moises, which was about a year and a half, 2 years ago now. Volk's been living in those 5-round fights for the last couple of years. I think the height, I think Volkanovski being small actually plays an advantage because, like he's been saying in all his interviews, his hips are going to be very close to the ground. So he's literally a couple of inches off standing back to his feet if he does get taken down. And then I do feel like Volkanovski has a massive advantage in the striking department. So with all that being said, that makes a very intriguing matchup. Now, obviously, you can't take away from the fact that Islam is looking like one of the most dominant forces we've ever seen in MMA, obviously, apart from his teammate Khabib. But I do feel like a lot of people are kind of, I wouldn't say overhyping Islam, but a lot of people are making out like it's Khabib versus Alexander Volkanovski, and it's not. It's a different fight, and I feel like, I feel like Volk maybe just has the tools to get the job done, and that's what I'm hoping for, because, like Adam, Volkanovski is probably my favourite fighter to watch at the minute as well. So I'm Team Volk all the way on this one.
Yeah, I feel like anyone who does fight MMA loves Volkanovski because he can do it all so well, and he like my favorite fighter is Max Holloway, and I was like rooting for Max in all the fights, and like Volkanovski actually won me over in those fights. I was like, this guy is just too good. Like he can do it all. He can really shut down your opponent's game, and also his frame is so unique because he's only 5'6", but he actually has the reach advantage against that.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
So like though he has those long arms, yet that short frame. So it really works out well for him. So despite being smaller, he doesn't actually give up the reach advantage.
That's mad. I didn't even know that. That's mad.
So like next time you see Volk, you'll see like his knuckles like drag off the ground as he's walking.
Not when he's wearing high heels, man.
Yeah. But Baz, give us a. I suppose actually you give us a quick take and then you give us a prediction first, Baz.
Yeah, we'll do, lads. Look, obviously this is a huge fight. Like looking at the rest of the card, this one is selling the pay-per-view. To be honest, looking at the size difference, and obviously it's Islam's division as well. Volkanovski is moving up. I just believe that Islam just looks so much bigger. I think he's going to look even bigger on fight night as well, and I just think he's just going to take Volkanovski for a ride. Now, Volkanovski will still remain the featherweight champion. And in the co-main event, Yair Rodriguez is fighting Josh Emmett for the interim featherweight title, so that is one to be watched as well. But overall, I see Islam Makhachev winning and turning and becoming the number one pound for pound fighter in the UFC.
Adam, what's your prediction
for the co-main event or for the actual
for the main event first?
I reckon maybe round 2, Islam. Like rear naked choke or something. I just think he's going to just stick him to the mat and overwhelm him. And it's not the result. I hope it's Volkanovski 10-second KO, but my brain's telling me that Islam. I think Islam's going to submit him.
And what about yourself, Nathan?
I'm going to flip the script. I'm going Volkanovski by either late TKO or decision. I think he could win enough rounds to nick it late, so I'm going to go Volk.
Yeah, they both have a loss in their record, but Islam Makhachev's loss was by knockout. That being said, I actually feel like he's going to do the same thing that he did to Charles Oliveira to Volkanovski. I think he's going to get that head and arm choke. He just seems to get it so effortlessly. And I think he might get it again. The only thing is, it will be interesting to see if he can get him down the first round. Hopefully, I don't want 10 seconds like Adam was saying. I want to see at least 10 minutes of this fight before it finishes. So maybe a late second round finish for Islam.
And the thing that would be interesting as well is if Volkanovski wins, I'd say he'd stay at lightweight and try and fight as many people he can in that division, because he's basically cleared out the featherweight division as it stands. Look, speaking of the co-main event, Yair Rodriguez is taking on Josh Emmett for the interim title. I don't recall the UFC ever doing this, putting the interim title on when the actual champion is fighting in the main event. But who are you expecting to win this fight? Ross, Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. Like Josh Emmett's 37, which is like really old at featherweight. But like he's probably the hardest hitter in the division. And then Yair Rodriguez, as we saw against the Korean Zombie, he's in the fight till 4 minutes 59 seconds of the 5th round. He throws really unorthodox shots. If I had to be honest, I think Yair is durable enough to withstand Emmett's early entourage, and I think he might be able to pick up a late stoppage. But one thing I'd also be interested in on the lads' take is, obviously later on in the year, Max Holloway is fighting Arnold Allen. Do you think there's actually more precedence that should be for an interim title fight than this one here? We'll start with yourself, Nathan.
I think it's tough with Holloway. I know he's done a lot, and he probably is one of the GOATs at featherweight. But I don't think anyone really wants to see that fight with Volkanovski again. We've already had it 3 times now, and the last one was pretty decisive in terms of obviously Volkanovski's performance. So I feel like that's probably the main reason why that isn't. Now Arnold Allen, on the other hand, is coming through the ranks, and although that sort of stoppage on Cater the other week was a little bit, I was out of his control, wasn't it? It wasn't a decisive stoppage, but I feel like the way, and again, you can't say because it was a 5-round fight, but the way that was going, Allen was looking really good, and he has been in his last few, especially when he stopped Hooker in London. So I'd be really excited to watch Arnold Allen compete for the belt over Yair and Josh Emmett. But that's a good fight also in its own right. And they've both sort of made their own claims for getting a title shot. So I'm not mad about it, but I would prefer to see Allen in that title fight, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. What about yourself, Adam? Are the right 2 men in the title fight, and who do you think wins it?
Yeah, for me, I'm the same as Nathan. I think as soon as you make that Holloway Arnold Allen fight, it's automatically a bigger fight, isn't it? Because everyone knows if Volkanovski wasn't there, Holloway would be the champion. Especially thinking back to last year when Yair and Holloway fought. After the first round, when Holloway sort of got his timing down, he schooled him. So people don't forget that, do they? That like if Yair goes to win the title, well, the interim title, everyone's going to remember what Holloway did to him. And I think I'm happy that Josh Emmett got a title fight because he did win some big fights leading up to it. But it's just overshadowed by that announcement, isn't it? Really. Speaking of that fight, though, I think it could go to Josh Emmett personally. I think Yair is really good, but he's quite emotional, and I feel like whereas Josh Emmett's quite clinical and has a game plan and sticks to it. He's quite basic, isn't he? Really, with his boxing and low kicks, and then when he's decided to wrestle, he wrestles hard. And I think that can give someone like Yair problems because he's so emotional. Like I remember, was it with Jeremy Stevens in Mexico where it was like ended with an accidental eye poke, and he's ends up screaming at Bisping, he's screaming at the crowd. He's just like a fights on pure aggression, doesn't he? Sometimes and makes the wrong decisions. And I think that was the same in the Max Holloway fight. He just ended up losing his composure a bit and just trying to take Holloway's head off, which just sort of played into his hands. And I think if Josh Emmett's preparation for the fight's been good, which he should be because he's had so long to prepare, I think he could do it over 5 rounds and slowly break down Yair with mixing his wrestling and his boxing and get the decision.
There we have it.
I think Josh Emmett is going to win a dirty. Ross, anyone? Very dirty, obviously. Ross, anyone else in this that the people should look out for this weekend at UFC 284?
Yeah, Jake Della Maddalena is fighting Randy Brown. He's won his last 3 fights by first round TKO. The fella thinks he's Adam Cullen, so that's definitely someone you should watch out for on the card. And then Jimmy Crute's back after a long layoff, so they went heavy on the Aussies for this card. So I definitely keep my eye out on those two. They seem like the next up and comers on the Australian side of things. And then Tyson Pedro as well has looked really good as well. So
yeah,
they're
taking on Cage Warriors alumni, Modestus
Bukauskas. So Moddy's no easy task for anyone, and he looked good in his last fight. So all the best to Moddy, and it's a tough one to come back to. So let's see how it goes down.
Lads, what a show. For people tuning in now, we had to arrange it so many times because of the internet, doctors, and just the normal stuff and life. That's what happens. But we are here. We try to bring you the best shows as possible. And that's why the Saudi Strangler and the Cage Warriors King joined us today. Lads, make sure to check out the lads' Instagram pages and the build up to their fights to get tickets. And Ross, take us away, bud.
Yeah, guys, Nathan, Adam, thanks a million for coming on. You guys are absolute gents. We have a lot of respect for you guys. 2 of the best talents Cage Warriors have to offer. And we appreciate your time. Guys, if you are watching this, make sure to like it. It is an unbelievable. It means a lot to us and it means a lot to the guys. And make sure to give the lads a follow on their social medias. And as always, stay energized.
Energized show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.